So first I will start with the basic question, which is on the screen. What is the resume and how it is different from the CV? Let me elaborate in detail. CV stands for curriculum vitae. This CV is basically used as a document when you are going to apply for academics, like if you want to go for the masters or PhDs or suppose research scholar, then you have to use the CV because it purely discuss about your achievements, your accomplishments related to academics only. It will not talk about your skills. It will not talk about your professional journey. It shows only your academic accomplishments only. And all the items like your or entries like publications, awards, honors, conferences, research experience, whatever you have accomplished in your academics, you have to highlight it. And there is no page limit applicable for the CV. It can be 2-page, it can be 3-page, and if you look at the CV of the professor, then it goes beyond 25 pages also. So it is just like the thesis of a research. So CV is not having any page limit. Whereas in case of the resume, this resume is only just 1 page. I repeat, 1 page only if you have work experience less than 10 years. If you have work experience between 10 to 35 years, means till your retirement, then you should have 2-page only. Only 2-page between 10 to 35, but less than 10, you should have 1 page. And it will not talk about your academics in detail. It just tell you about where you did graduation and post-graduation and your marks, nothing else. But it will talk about your skills, your work experience, and the major accomplishment. Suppose if you work for the 10 years, then you have suppose 15 to 20 accomplishments. You need to highlight the major bullet points only, which should be classified under just 1 page. And the goal of the resume is to stand out from the competition. This resume is used only during the job interviews and nothing else. Whereas for academic purpose, you have to use the CV. CV should not be tailored for any role wherever you apply, whereas resume should be tailored for each and every role. Suppose if you apply for data analytics, data analyst role, then your resume should talk about the data analytics skill set only. If you are applying for suppose marketing research role, then it should be talk about your marketing skill set and competencies. And if you apply for suppose CA role, then it should talk about your finance related parameters only or accounting related parameters and nothing else. So resume should be tailored about the role. So for each role, you need to make different resume. Whereas in case of academic, only 1 standard curriculum vitae is required. Now, there is in India, there is a misconception that most of the recruiters ask you to share the CV. They are using interchangeably these 2 words, CV or resume. Don't get confused. If recruiter is asking for your CV, it means they are asking for resume. Don't give 2-page, 3-page or 5-page resume. They will don't read in detail. Every recruiter will scan only just 1 page of the resume. So for recruiter point of view, if they mention CV, it means by default it is a resume. Hope it is clear to everyone, the difference between CV and resume. Next is, how does a resume stand out of the individual? Now we'll talk about everything related to resume. We will not discuss anything about the CV because it is related to academics. So how does the resume stand out as an individual? First of all, you need to understand this resume is your own personal brand. You are creating your own personal brand in just 1 page. Suppose your age is 20 years old when you did the graduation, then condensing 20 years of experience, whether it is academic or entrepreneurship experience, or suppose your internship experience, you need to create in just 1-page document only, and automatically it will talk about your own personal brand. Basically, you are selling yourself into the job market, and it is an important tool for your job search. And it will also create first impression in front of the recruiter. And I can say it is a elimination round, not a selection round. Why? Because 98% rejections are happening with respect to the resume only. So if your resume is weak, then chances are very high that you will be eliminated and you will never get interview call. So make sure you should create first impression during the resume. And once your resume is selected, then it will automatically open the door to the opportunity. Means you will get the calls for the interview. And if you guys get selected, automatically you will get the success in your life. You will land up into your dream role, into the dream company. Now coming to the types of the resume. In market, there are two type of resumes are there. First category is called as textual resume. Textual means it is a plain text file format which is prepared in the Word document, and no visuals, no graphics, no color, no lines, no tables, even no photograph should be there on the textual resume. It is completely plain format. If you go to the format of the Delhi University institutes, they are using textual format resume. They don't use any kind of logos, icons, and this one. They are simply plain textual resume only. And then this resume is 100% ATS compliant. Now, what is this ATS compliant? ATS stands for Application Tracking System. It's a tool which is developed for the human resources department, basically primarily used by the HR recruitment team or talent acquisition team to filter out the right resume copies. Based upon this software or this application tracking system, you will be scanned based upon the certain keywords which is expected in the job description. So tool will automatically pick up the desired keywords in your resume, and no person will read your resume. And you will get 100% filtered out keywords with the help of ATS compliant CV only. And always use textual resume because it is 100% ATS compliant. And textual resume is easy to read and you can easily forward to any person in the email. And the beauty of this textual resume is you can easily modify, add new entries or delete the entries in future. You can easily modify anything. And whenever you are applying for any job, it is online job friendly. Now, what is this online job application friendly? When you are applying to any company onto the company portal, they always ask you to upload your resume. Now, if your resume is textual resume, 100% entries will be captured from your Word file into the system. But if you use different resume which is having graphics, then only textual part may be selected and may not be selected. And it may be possible your main data will not be captured and uploaded into the server part. So it automatically captures few portion of your resume and left out majority of the resume. So textual resumes are online job application friendly. Let's discuss about the second part of the resume. The second part of the resume is your visual resume. Visual means it creates the visual appearance of your resume. Those resume which is having the photograph or diagrams or logos or visuals or company related items or logos, that is a visual resume. Now this visual resume is having certain advantages but lot of disadvantages. The advantages is the moment you scan the resume, it automatically gives you visual feeling of the candidate. Automatically you can decide that this person is credible and I should take it. If you are 100% sure that this resume will be read by the HR person, then you can use this visual resume. But if you are 100% sure that your CV will be scanned through the software, then don't use this format. Otherwise, you will face the problem. And it is non-ATS compliant. Non-ATS means I'm not saying that it is 100% non-ATS compliant. Sometimes it is 40% compliant, sometimes it is 60% compliant. But if suppose some portion of the data is not captured, then you will face the problem. And it is very eye-catching. Easily you can interpret by looking at the logos, the diagrams and all, and it is very difficult to edit. Because in future, if you want to add any line, it's very tiring effort for you and it consumes a lot of time. So it's not user-friendly. Okay, so these are the two types of the resume. But I would suggest always use textual resume. Whether you are sure that person will read the resume or don't read the resume, always go for the textual resume only. Now coming to the structure of the resume. What are the components involved in a resume? There are a couple of parameters mentioned in your resume. First is your personal detail. Now, I would like to give emphasis on this personal detail. Personal detail, you should have only 3 entries: name, email ID, and contact number. Don't mention any other detail, especially your photograph, your address, your blood group, your date of birth, as well as your father name, spouse name. Nothing should be mentioned in your resume. You are responsible for your misuse of your highly personal detail. Only these 3 personal details should be there. Until unless it is specified by the recruiter that you need to upload certain other items or entries, then you can highlight on your resume. Summary and objective, it is not mandatory, but if you want to mention, then you can mention. Now, those who are adding the summary and objective, make sure it should be aligned with the role. Don't copy paste the standard summary or objective which is available on Google. You should write the summary or objective based upon the role you are applying. It should be aligned with the goal. Then coming to the core competencies. The synonym of this core competencies is also skills. You can highlight the skills or competencies which you have developed, just like business development or sales and marketing or data analytics or accounting or financial modeling and planning. These kind of core competencies you need to highlight on your resume so that it will be picked up by the ATS compliant tool. So ATS compliant tool will basically focus on these core competencies. Then you have education or academic achievements, whatever you did in your academics. Then work experience or internship experience, position of responsibilities. This is also important because this will highlight your leadership credibility. Whatever the position you hold, suppose you are the president of your Inactus club or suppose entrepreneurship club, then it will demonstrate your leadership potential. So you have to highlight under the position of responsibility. If you have your hobbies or extracurricular activities, you can highlight it. Or if you did professional certifications, you can highlight it. Now for the CA, Chartered Accountant students, how you can enter your detail. Chartered Accountant is basically not coming under as a professional degree. It is a it is a professional credential. So by default, you need to mention under the education heading only. Don't mention under professional certification. Similarly, those students who are doing the CFA should be also added under the education. So degree and chart holders, both should come under the education. Rest of the certifications you are doing, it should be coming under the professional certifications only. Okay. Now let's discuss about the tips. How you can make it impressive. So based upon the structure which I have shared, how you can make it impressive. So these are the couple of tips you need to remember. First is you have to use STAR approach. STAR approach stands for situation, task, action, and result. I will explain this this magical framework in next couple of slides. So I'm parking it for later. Whatever the points you are mentioning, you need to quantify. Now, how many bullet points per heading? There is a magical formula applicable here. Suppose you worked in 3 companies, then you should not highlight more than 5 bullet points per company. Or it is also applicable for internships also. I am repeating, if you worked in 3 companies, suppose, including internships, don't mention more than 5 bullet points per company. And you need to highlight the bullet points in reverse chronological order. Means based upon the impact, you need to highlight in the reverse chronological order. It means biggest achievement should come at the first point, then second biggest, and the third biggest, and the least achievement should come at the bottom. Now, why this reverse chronological order? Because CV will be read by the human being. And as per the human psychology, if they are going to read the points, then if they get impressed with the first point, then the other person will try to read the second point, then third point. But if the first point is weak, then there are chances are very high the person will not go to the second point or third point, and there is not probability that the person will go to the last point. So make sure the impact should be high on the first point. Okay? And always use the action and power verbs on your resume. Action and power verbs just like draw, orchestrated, drive, led, coordinated, these verbs should be used before starting any sentence. Now, why this you have to use power verbs? Because resume, you cannot mention your responsibilities. You have to highlight your accomplishments. There is a difference between responsibilities and accomplishment. Accomplishment means your past achievements. Resume will talk about your past achievements, what you have achieved till date, rather than what you are doing right now. So if you are mentioning your accomplishment, it should be start with the power verbs. And coming to the keywords, what you highlight in the bullet point, it should be matching with respect to the role. Suppose if you are applying for marketing analyst role, then these keywords should be there. If you are applying for finance role, then the different keywords related to the finance role should be coming up. Similarly, for a data analytics role, different set of keywords should be there. So each and every CV will be tailored with respect to the keywords. And don't mention the filler verbs like you are just a committee member, or you are just a training and placement cell coordinator, or you worked with the NGO. Unless you don't mention the details, like as a training and placement head, what you did, whether you make any achievement, whether you bring up more engagement to the institution, or you have made tie-up with additional organizations, what is the engagement level? You need to highlight each and everything. Suppose if you are the president of the entrepreneurial club or event committee club, then you need to mention how much events you organize, what is the variety of the industry professional you bring up, how many varieties of alums you have bring up, and what is the engagement level or what is the satisfaction level. Unless you don't highlight those points, these are useless. Nobody will give any kind of weightage on this point. This will demonstrate your leadership potential. And next point is really important, extremely important. Get it reviewed with multiple people. Now, how many people should be involved in reviewing your resume? Maximum 5 people, not more than 5. Maximum 5. Now, these 5 people should be different based upon different categories. First, it can be your best friend also. Second, it can be your family member. Third, it can be your training and placement cell committee if you are studying. Fourth, it can be any senior working professional in your same industry domain in which you are going to apply. And fifth, it can be your mentor. So 5 people should be of different category. 5 people should not be same of one category. Otherwise, you will get confused because each and every person perspective is different. So get it reviewed by different people of different category, but maximum 5, not go beyond 5. And make sure it should be 1 page only. So these are the practical tips you need to consider while make it impressive resume.